Charles Bukowski wasn't trying to be profound, yet somehow he became one of the most brutally honest philosophers of the modern age. He wrote not from the mountaintop of intellectualism, but from the gutter of experience. His words bled from bar stools, broken hearts, and rented rooms. While others tried to make sense of the world, Bukowski simply described it ugly, imperfect, human. And in doing so, he told more truth than most who claim to know it. There's something rare about a man who refuses to lie about life. Bukowski did not dress suffering in poetry, even though he was a poet. He told it as it was, raw, vulgar, unfiltered. And yet, beneath the chaos and cynicism, he found something sacred, not hope, but honesty. He showed that meaning doesn't come from grand ideas or moral victories, but from surviving the day, from laughing at the absurdity of it all. The tragedy of Bukowski is that he understood people too well. He saw that most aren't living, they're merely functioning, that they work, consume, and pretend. And he wanted none of it. He chose authenticity over approval, truth over peace, even if it meant living in pain. His philosophy wasn't about happiness. It was about freedom. The freedom to be yourself in a world that constantly tells you not to. Bukowski's life was an experiment in endurance. He didn't chase comfort or respectability. He chased truth, even when it destroyed him. Beneath the chaos of his existence was a strange clarity. He saw that the human condition is built on suffering, but that suffering doesn't have to be dressed up or denied. It can be used. It can be turned into something real. He once wrote, "What matters most is how well you walk through the fire." That line captures his entire philosophy. Everyone gets burned, but few keep walking. Bukowski believed life was supposed to be hard. That was the point. Ease makes people dull. Struggle gives them depth. And so he lived close to the flame, poor, reckless, riding from his pain instead of running from it. This is what made him so powerful. He didn't look for escape. He turned his misery into art. He drank, yes, but he also wrote. And in that writing, he transformed self-destruction into self-expression. It's a kind of survival that goes beyond endurance. It's creation through chaos. Psychologically, Bukowski represented the archetype of the anti-hero philosopher. He wasn't trying to heal humanity. He was trying to survive it. He knew the system was a trap, a factory that produces obedience under the disguise of order. His rejection of it was his liberation. He worked dead-end jobs for decades before success came. But his refusal to conform gave him a kind of moral power. He embodied the courage to fail on your own terms rather than succeed on someone else's. Bukowski's worldview came from a lifetime of alienation. Beaten by an abusive father, covered in acne scars, rejected by society, he spent most of his life on the margins. But it was there, in rejection, that he found clarity. He realized that once you've been truly alone, you're free. You no longer need validation. You stop performing. And when you stop performing, you start seeing life as it really is, not as it's sold to you. He became the outsider who observes everything but belongs nowhere. In Jungian terms, he was the wounded sage, someone whose pain gave him vision. His suffering became the lens through which he saw the absurdity of human behavior, the hypocrisy of ambition, the comedy of desire, the emptiness behind the illusion of success. This is why his writing resonates with those who feel different or displaced. Bukowski gives a voice to the invisible, the average, the forgotten. He didn't romanticize them, he honored them. To him, the drunk in a cheap bar and the man in a suit were the same creature, both afraid, both pretending, both trapped in a game called life. His detachment wasn't arrogance, it was defense. When you've seen too much of people's masks, you stop believing in them. And so Bukowski created his own moral code, one that didn't rely on approval or belonging. His freedom was earned through isolation, and his art was born from that solitude. Bukowski hated institutions, schools, corporations, politics, the whole machinery of modern life. To him, these were cages disguised as achievements. He despised the 9-to-5 lifestyle because it robbed people of their souls. He saw how society conditions people to trade their authenticity for stability, and he wanted no part of it. He called them the dull ones, those who wake, work, sleep, repeat. To him, that wasn't life. That was slow death. He said, how in the hell could a person enjoy being awakened at 6:30 a.m., buy an alarm clock, leap out of bed, dress, force feed, piss, shit, brush teeth and hair, and fight traffic to get to a place where essentially you made lots of money for somebody else and were asked to be grateful for the opportunity to do so? It wasn't just rebellion, it was philosophy. He believed that submission to the system was psychological decay. The more you conform, the less of yourself remains. His rejection of this wasn't laziness, it was spiritual clarity. He wanted to live, not just exist. And yet, his philosophy wasn't a call to chaos. It was about authenticity. He wasn't saying quit your job. He was saying don't lose yourself in it. Don't mistake stability for meaning. Don't surrender your life to the expectations of others. In psychological terms, Bukowski embodied existential freedom, the acceptance that life has no preset meaning, so it's up to you to create one. But that freedom comes with loneliness, and he accepted that too. To him, loneliness was better than self-betrayal. For all his cynicism, Bukowski was deeply human. His relationship with love was complicated, a war between desire and fear. He wanted connection, but distrusted it. He craved intimacy, but feared being seen. His poems often sound misogynistic, but behind them is a man who didn't know how to love without losing himself. He saw love as a kind of madness, a temporary insanity that exposes your most vulnerable parts. And yet, he kept returning to it. That's the paradox of Bukowski, a man who mocked romance, yet wrote about it endlessly. From a psychological view, this reveals attachment trauma, a man shaped by pain, trying to connect while avoiding hurt. His relationships failed because he loved with one hand and pushed away with the other. But his writing about love, brutal, tender, conflicted, is what made him timeless. He didn't write about ideal love. He wrote about real love. Bukowski's philosophy is not a call to self-destruction. It's a call to self-honesty. He teaches that life doesn't need to be beautiful to be meaningful. You don't need to win to be free. You just need to be real. He showed that pain is not the enemy. Falseness is. That survival is an art. That the world will try to domesticate you, sell you dreams, and make you forget your wildness. And that the only way to live truthfully is to refuse. To refuse to fake smiles. To refuse to chase status. To refuse to let fear silence you. He believed in small victories, finishing a poem, surviving another day, finding joy in absurdity. His message isn't glamorous, but it's liberating. You don't need to conquer the world. Just don't let it conquer you. Bukowski wasn't a saint or a hero. He was a mirror, a man who exposed what most people hide: their loneliness, their lust, their despair, their yearning. He turned all of it into truth. His life reminds us that wisdom doesn't come from success or enlightenment. It comes from endurance, from looking at life's filth and still finding poetry in it, from knowing that existence is both tragic and beautiful, often at the same time. He once said, "We are here to laugh at the odds and live our lives so well that death will tremble to take us." That's Bukowski's philosophy in one line. Not a life of comfort, but of courage. Not one of peace, but of passion. The art of being painfully, beautifully human.